Okay, what is it that I want to do, and what are the steps that I need to take to get there? So I always call it the reverse engineering. It's
Hmm.
like, this is my goal. What do I need to do backwards? And break it down so that it comes to a point where it's so tangible that it's like, oh my God, it's not that crazy.
All right, welcome back to The Art of Greatness, guys. We're excited with another new episode with another very exciting guest for you guys. Our guest today, at 29 years old, at under 29, he already has written a book. He's done skydiving, multiple dives. He is an Ironman, an athlete, played tennis at a very high level. He's the founder of Super Luxury Group, has multiple masterminds going on, and he's Superman himself, in all honesty. I'd like to welcome Alvaro Nunez. Welcome, Alvaro.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. So excited to be here today.
It is absolutely a pleasure, my friend. I know me and you, we go a few years back, and I follow you constantly. You're my role model, my man. And I love everything
Get
you're
out.
doing, all the travels, all of that stuff. And I always say, you know what, this guy is living life. And I actually commented after your book and all of that stuff with the helicopter you were going up. I wrote for you, I said, oh, here goes the real life Superman. There you go.
Oh, it's so funny. So funny.
You're the best.
It's a good tagline. Yeah, I'll keep it.
Keep it, brother. No problem. For sure.
So how are you? How's it going? How are things in your world, in your life? Where are you living right now, and what have you been up to lately?
Well, I mean, as Peter say, trying to keep it exciting. We have only one life, so trying to make the best out of it. I'm currently based here in Miami. I'm originally from Madrid, Spain. So I had to choose a destination or a place that I can call home here in the States, and Miami, I think, is quite a destination.
It is. Yeah, correct.
And that's something you manifested such a long time ago, right? It's something that you wanted for years before you even moved to Miami. And I think it was so exciting going through your book. And the book, guys, is called Level Up. I'd like to put that out there, and we'll mention it a couple more times. I've read the entire book. It's absolutely incredible. And it's amazing how you've been able to accomplish so much in such little time. And it really shows how persevered you are, how resilient you are, and how you've been able to overcome these obstacles. So had you always wanted to write a book, or was this something new? Because at 29, let's be honest.
No. What I want to know, how the hell did you do it?
Yeah, how do you write a book at 29 and have
for an
all
hour.
these things?
I mean, look, the book itself is just, I guess, an example, right, on what you can accomplish at any age. And for me, the book, it was not just, oh, let's write a book. No, it was more of a process that took place until I got to that point. And that process was getting involved with the people that were seeing my journey, because that was getting exciting. It was people saying, oh my God, this is inspiring. This is something that is wow. And I wanted to just put something out there that would also show the raw me, not just me skydiving, flying helicopters, doing all these crazy things, attending red carpets. I wanted to show the real me, because there is a lot behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see. And unfortunately or fortunate, we live in a world where social media, it kind of showcases only the good side of things. So for me, this book, it was more a way of connecting with the audience that I've been building over the years. Also a good project, personal project, to open up to myself, because a lot of those stories that happened through my early stages, those are stories that I don't think about them that much. But when you go back into those stories, it shows you how far you've gone. And then through the process, how much your mind has expanded. Because when I was 17, moving to the US, I was not planning on writing a book. I had different plans. Now, it's just about always having a vision. And when you follow that vision through by taking action, perseverance, and also by surrounding yourself with people that are also dreaming big, your mind keeps expanding. So your vision keeps morphing, to something even more big and exciting. And in my case, I just follow something that I'm passionate about. And that's how I rule my life by.
Amazing.
How long did it take you to write the book?
1 year.
Okay. And as we're on the book, you have a lot of great quotes in there. Could you mention one of your favorite quotes and one of your favorite authors as well while we're
Well, we're
on
topic of this book right now.
Yeah. I'd love to know which one, because you quote
You might have a favorite. You
someone
probably
every
have
single
one.
chapter,
Yeah.
and I've been through the entire book.
Yeah.
And I listened to the last
appreciate that, by the way.
45 minutes this morning to make
So
sure
you're
it was
ready to
done.
level up, my friend.
Oh,
Come on.
fuck yeah! We were born
know
ready
everything
to
about
level
you, my
up.
man.
That's it. So
Oh, no secret.
with that process, with the quotes, which quote resonates most with you, and which author potentially resonates most with you on a book's perspective?
Well, I started the book with a quote, and I also finish it with a quote that I really love by Oprah Winfrey that says, "The biggest adventure you can live is to live the life of your dreams." And that's what I live by, And I will say that as an author, him or herself, I will see Tony Robbins as somebody that had a big impact when I started to get more into books at the beginning on early stages, just to kind of shape my mind a bit. But definitely you just acquire different knowledge and different golden nuggets, how we say, from different authors and different books. Like I try to keep it as a habit now where everywhere I go, whether it's for a run or I'm driving or I'm cooking, I always try to plug these AirPods on and start consuming information through Audible or audiobooks in general in any platform where you can just listen to those books, apply what you're listening to into something that you can do today. Because a lot of people consume information and they don't do nothing with it. And it's just like an overwhelming situation. I always like to call the 30-second rule, which is after I'm done with any meeting, any lecture, any activity, I take 30 seconds to write down the most important things. And once you become used to do this activity, then you're going to start developing this superpower where everything that you do, you can summarize it and condense it to something that is actually valuable. So every time I'm done with any lesson or I'm listening to an audiobook for 2 hours during my run, after I'm done, I'm like, write the things and apply them right away.
So you write down what that adventure or what you read or what you listened to, how did it make you feel? Is that what you write down, or you come up with the what do you come up with? You condense it for yourself. How do you what is so do you go visit these things back? Because I tell you why I'm asking this question, because I saw you did a challenge on your Instagram that you walked for 12 hours. Am I right? 12 hours straight. And it started at nighttime with the morning. And when you came back and you wrote down a whole lot of things that came to you, and those feelings that your thoughts and those emotions that you were having when you were doing a journey of 12 hours and finding yourself and finding what your meaning is in life or whatever the case may be. And I read them all, by the way, and I love them. Okay, so because what I believe in, I just want to touch base on this. We don't think the thought. We don't think the thoughts. The thoughts gets downloaded from the ether to us. This is what I believe in. I don't know if I'm wrong or right, but they all coming from outside sources. So tell me about that, and what do you do with that? You write it down, and how does this thing come to you and comes together with you? Because you wrote it beautifully, and I loved every the point that you made on your journey. So tell me about that.
Well, there is different angles on how to look into it. I will tell you straightforward how I start my day and how I resonate when it comes to the thought process of acquiring information and also connect deep with your own soul and your own mind. So the power of the thoughts, I think, is just one of the most profound things to work towards. And every time I wake up, I go through my vision. I have my vision. I'm clear of what I'm aiming to accomplish in my life as it's already present. Then I start reading and listening, because everything I have is actually very funny. I can't show it, but it's a daily activity. I have my vision folder where I have my vision, my why, my will of life, the values. So I have like a whole sequence of things that I follow that I listen to myself and I'm reading at the same time. So I already supercharged my morning by getting clear on my mind what I'm doing. So after all of that, I call it my 10-step morning routine, which you can find it on the book. But just to summarize what you were asking, I think that right now, when you face anything in life with an intention, your mind is already plugged in that frequency. So you just need to listen to yourself, because sometimes we're just looking for the answer, where the answer, we already have it within us. So that 12-hour walk was a great challenge that, by the way, my friend Colin O'Brady, he has the book himself, which is a great challenge, a great book, and himself is a great individual that has broken a lot of world records. So he encouraged me to go and do this challenge. And it was interesting to see how, as you are disconnecting from everything, you connect again to yourself. Because we are surrounded by so much noise with your phone already, nonstop messaging and Instagram and the other thing, people talking to you, and there's a lot of distractions. So once you have an intention of what you really want to accomplish out of the quietness or the focus of just being present and being connected to yourself, then magic things happen. So I was just letting my thoughts come to myself as I was having an intention already of what I wanted that to be. And it was beautiful.
But you also affirm, right? Like these are your affirmations, your vision boards kind of
Right.
alongside
Correct.
with your affirmations.
Yeah.
And I want to say out a quote, and I'm going to paraphrase it a little bit. And Alex Hormozi said this. He's like, affirmations aren't just the things that you yell in the mirror, but the things that you do that stack up over time instead. So
100%.
like talking about that, I think there's a lot of people that think they can wake up in the morning, say, I'm going to be the number one agent. I'm going to be a keynote speaker. I'm going to speak for Grant Cardone. I'm going to go do Ironman.
Yeah.
I'm going to go run a half marathon and then a marathon and complete it no matter what. Which, by the way, for those who don't know and haven't read the book, he's done all those things. So he ran a half marathon without anything,
Guilty.
like had no idea, didn't even know he'd finish, and then ran a full marathon a couple weeks after that. The half marathon was just like a semi prep that he showed up to, had no clue even if he'd finish, and you were in shambles after that first one. So talk to us a little bit about that mentality and the actual work that goes into it. Because I think everyone thinks you just affirm, you write some good shit down, and then everything's just going to happen. No, there's a lot of the work that goes in the middle to achieving what it is that you want. And how have you really done it, right? Because you've done it early on from the judo to tennis move, right? Like you were deciding whether you wanted to go into judo or tennis, and you kind of manifested that, got into tennis, got to a fairly high level. Into like that semi-pro college, playing for the universities, colleges, and just walk us through that from early life, and then how that's really helped you going into the later part of life. And then, of course, we're going to talk about SLG towards the end, and that's going to be a bulk of it as well. But I really want to get an idea of how you've manifested those things early on and how your brain is wired to do this and just make shit happen day in and day out.
I mean, you said it right there. Nothing happened overnight. You know, a lot of people think that, that overnight success, but it really takes 10 to 20 years to see that overnight success. So I always call it the compound effect, right? Anything that you start doing and stacking on it, which is what you were referring to, eventually it will start paying dividends. So yes, you can go crazy and try to do something right away, but if you want to really build something efficiently and that is long lasting, you need to start investing every day, discipline, consistency, build those routines and habits. In fact, you were talking about the marathon. I just ran one this morning, and now it became more like a regular thing. I do it one every week. And we'll talk about challenges later on, but the reason that I'm doing this, by the way, is not like, I love running marathons. I'm actually preparing for the toughest foot race in the world. It's called Marathon des Sables. It's 6 marathons in 6 days across the Sahara Desert, and you need to carry your own food and your own things for the entire week.
Yeah, you talk about that in the final chapter, right?
Like.
That's the marathon you're talking about in the final chapter.
I'm talking about the Ironman journey that I did, but in the book, I also say about some of my massive goals, which are goals that I was working towards or that I have in my mind. And as you can see, a few months later, I'm taking already into action. And that's what makes the difference between those, as you said, Peter, that dream and don't say, they talk too much, but they don't take action. As we are looking into, okay, what is it that I want to do? And what are the steps that I need to take to get there? So I always call it the reverse engineering. Like, this is my goal. What do I need to do backwards? And break it down so that it comes to a point where it's so tangible that it's like, oh my God, it's not that crazy.
No, it's
and
next
you can
logical
actually start
step.
taking those steps.
It's just the next logical step. Yeah, it just happened.
Yeah, yeah, and just like as Fahad was saying, everything started from a position of, okay, I want to play judo, tennis. Like I was just a kid, you know. It's not that I had like big ambitions or dreams. I was just following kind of like a route that my parents helped me set up, which is, okay, you go to school, you train every day in the best academies of tennis. They provided well for me. And then afterwards, I had the decision to make whether it's, okay, I want to be a professional tennis player. Do I want to continue with judo? Do I want to just quit everything and focus on studies? What do I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, you need to also make that decision. And for me, unfortunately or fortunately, I always like to see things as it happens for me, you know? And I think that at that point, when I was 17, 16, when we were having this huge economic crisis and my father had a heart attack and he became a very successful entrepreneur, developer at an early age. And at that point, we ended up having to, you know, change our lifestyle. We lost it all. He got to the point of you know, almost dying. And it was a very tough situation to face at home. And for me, I no longer had those expectations or excitement to want to proceed becoming a professional tennis player, because the truth is that all my friends that were also trained at the best academies, they were a bit older than me, and an injury took them away from becoming some kind of successful or professional in tennis and making a living out of it. So there is a lot of different things that you're not guaranteeing that can happen. So in my case, I said, okay, this is a risk of taking a few years to just investing on coaches, traveling, and so on. What can I do that will not just be, okay, goodbye tennis, you were nice to me, but how can I leverage tennis, everything that I've already invested my time on it and my energy and my family, all the financials, so that I can use it efficiently. And that's when I looked at the solution of going to the US, building myself as a potential, you know, entrepreneur, which I am today, and still be using tennis. And that's why I looked for the American dream, and I ended up coming here, getting a tennis scholarship. But the story, and we were talking about it, Peter, as well, is that not all beginnings are glamorous. You know, I didn't go from Spain here to Miami, sexy city, and then all of a sudden I started to, you know, build a business and make it rain. No, it doesn't work like that. You know, so for me, even though that's what people see nowadays on my socials, which, by the way, I'm not going to lie, I do have this living. You know, it's not that I'm just posting it. But there is something.
But you're living life for you. You're not living life for anybody else. Those are just the images that comes out, and then you're enjoying it for yourself. And the whole world is get to see it, and the whole world gets to enjoy it. And those people that are small-minded, maybe not, they won't. But you are not doing it for other people. You're doing it for you, and that's the key. You know, you did whatever you have done to your life. It's your accomplishments, which are staggering and outstanding. It's for you. It's who you are wired, and who you wanted to be, and who you want to become in the future. And I give you props for that, my man.
But it's also the struggle, right?
Well, thank you.
And it's also the struggle. I don't think people realize all the things you went through. You had to pretty much figure out where you were going to go because you didn't get your visa. So you had to leave the U.S., and then you end up going to, and we're fast forwarding quite a bit, but you end up moving to the Dominican and building a company there, which was kind of the foundation of SLG. But even prior to that, I think I want to go a little bit before that and talk to you about your experience in thinking outside the box, where you pretty much coached. I believe it was someone's kid. You coached them in tennis to end up getting something in return, and basically a meeting a month, which helped you become the director of operations eventually, and helped you get a job as a marketing coordinator, and really
he knows everything about you, by the way. Like, it's scary.
I know, I'm like, yeah, you know. It's out here anyway.
It's all there. And I think, like, talk to us about that, about being able to figure out, okay, at every step of the way, you've been able to pivot at some point in time or think outside the box to see what it is that you're going to do. And I think that's that mindset that people need to truly take away. I love the cars, I love the skydiving, I love everything, but I think it's really what makes you you, and people will have an even more newfound respect for you and for everything that you've done once they read that book. That's why I really want to touch upon the struggle as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's fantastic, by the way, because everybody just sees the successes and all the glance, and it's like, oh wow, okay, very cool, but they don't connect, because some people are not at that level, so they automatically just feel like, oh, whatever, another one. However, once you start showing it in a way that it inspires others, it also connects better through a story, right? And as you said, the mindset, it's so powerful. And you, Peter, said something important, which is about doing it for yourself first. I was always determined to make my dreams come true, even though I had a smaller vision at the beginning, but that was my vision at first, and it was doing whatever it took me to get to that point. And that's just an example on how you can level up in life, to always look forward towards something that you're passionate about, that you can always keep front center, that you have a big reasoning behind, and that's your why, and then to stay determined and committed to do this every day. So afterwards, if what you do inspires others because you are actually putting it out there, great. I started to look into a higher fulfillment when I see that I can have an impact in other people's lives. At first, it was just very small. It was just for me, maybe for the close family members, but I didn't think farther than that. I was not thinking on becoming this entrepreneur that could impact millions of lives. Not at all. But now I'm in a position where through the platforms that I've built over time, I'm having a higher reach. So why not to use that in a very positive way so that people, even if it's just one person that says, oh, look, I just signed up for this, or look, it helped me to do that, or which I get these messages every day. And it's so empowering and so beautiful to see that something that I posted or that I said had a strong impact in somebody.
Absolutely.
And that's what, at the end of the day, you need to keep on developing, but your mindset needs to be clean and clear. So that's why the struggles that you were talking, Fahad, are the reasons that you start getting acquainted to really what is the meaning of your life, what is the purpose. Because a lot of people that get a lot of quick successes, they might not be mentally right, and they just blow their money away. They do things that are not really impactful, and maybe it's rewarding for them at that stage in their life, but it's not really having any positive consequences in the future. So for me, it was about turning my obstacles into superpowers, which is the subtitle of the book. And I ended up first moving to Silver City, New Mexico, a very small town that nobody even heard of. And that's where I ended up getting my full scholarship because I didn't speak English. I didn't have any other financials at the time to be able to go to a D1 and pay that 10% that it was missing on the scholarship. So I ended up going to that school. And through that journey, I ended up building values that I didn't have before, and values such as humility, empathy, because my first job was in maintenance. I was picking up trash next to the dorms on the tennis court. And I'm supposed to be the guy that is the captain of the tennis team that comes in to race championships and that everybody's betting on. And now I'm here, trying to make a living, to make an extra cash on the only job that was available, which was in the maintenance department. And everybody asking me if I was punished or what was the reason behind me being there. So that eventually through those situations, and again, first year I broke my foot, they canceled my scholarship. It was in a situation that it was very interesting. I share all of this in the book, but fast forward, if you keep your vision front and center and you have a big reasoning behind, like my why was not to just go to the US to have fun. I had a bigger why. And those are the things that drive me forward. And eventually ended up moving to Miami and start building the American dream that I had set up at first. And as everything happens, sometimes everything comes to an end. And in my case, everything that I was building, which led to become, as you said, Fahad, the director of operations at a startup and working my way all the way to get a sponsorship to stay in the country and all of this. I didn't get the visa. I had to leave. A lot of people said, go back to Spain. You can, with the amazing resume you've built over the years, you can land a good job. But that's not exactly what I wanted to do. That was not part of my vision. So I had to find a different alternative. And when you are always in the lookout for opportunities and you are keeping your front center on your strong values, your why, what's your vision at the end of the day, and you start keeping, I love to say the wheel of life as my main frame of how I look at life, right? Because a lot of people put so much effort into one area of your life, which could be your career or your financial or your social or your spiritual, because I've known also people that have gone that route and they're gone, So it's about really keeping a time, like a frame that, and I'll explain to you about the wheel of life, by the way, which is a really great mind frame to keep in mind, because if you look at the wheel of life, it's
I like
like
to hear that.
little wheels that you have. You have little wheels that help you advance in life. If you have an area of your life, one of those wheels that are flat, yes, you can advance in life, but it's going to take a little bit more of effort. If you have two wheels that are flat, it's going to take even more effort. And you will get to a point where, yes, life might be easy. There might be no issues going on, external issues. But then one day, guess what? There's going to be a big financial crisis. Somebody in your family is going to pass away. You're going to have an injury. You're going to have these obstacles that all of a sudden become this big hill that you need to climb. And if your wheels are flat in certain areas, it's going to take more effort. But if you look first at your wheel of life and you are putting effort and pumping each one of them, you're going to be well prepared to advance in life. And that's what I always looked into. So before I said, oh, I want to become an Ironman, or I said, okay, I want to do these things, but I'm also working on big challenges in these other areas. So every year I have a huge set of goals that represent each area of the wheel of life, and that those challenges, those goals are going to have a huge impact towards helping me achieve and reach that vision. So it's all like an equation that works, towards the future, but it's exciting. It's something that it creates this fire inside, and that's what makes you jump out of bed and go for it. And it's just beautiful.
Amazing. I love that.
Yeah, and I think that kind of leads us into building this brand, Palms and Villas, right? And that was the first entrepreneurship role that you ended up having. After you leave the United States, you get to Dominican, and you identify this opportunity where you don't need a lot of capital, and you can now go to owners of properties that are just sitting there. So kind of walk us through that. How did you come up with that? Is that something you came up with family? Because your family was in the Dominican at that time, right? Your parents were there.
Yes, correct. It was an interesting transition, because from being a 22, 23-year-old living the American dream, having really an amazing job and having everything that I ever dreamed of already happening to me, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Everything I wanted, the waterfront home, the six-figure salary, the convertible Audi that I really wanted, all these things, they were happening. And then all of a sudden, I didn't get my visa. So obviously the owner of the company said, sorry, we need to let you go. We need somebody on the ground. There was no such thing as working remotely like there is today. So I had to leave. And at that time, my parents actually did move to Dominican Republic because of the situation that we all had to face in Spain. They said, look, let's do a fresh reset. Let's go to Dominican Republic. My father, as an architect and developer, saw some opportunities in there. My mother was doing real estate. So they were starting to build something. And through that process, one of the properties my mother sold, it was purchased by a person that said, look, I'm not going to use it more than once or twice a year. Mm-hmm. So would you mind, or could you rent it short term? And at that point, I was supposed to be the marketing genius of the family, because marketing has always been my main focus.
Yeah.
So my mother said, look, why don't you come to Dominican Republic, check it out? Because everybody else was saying, go to Spain. And I said, oh, no. So I ended up going to the DR, and funny enough, that was when Airbnb was starting to grow as an international entity, mm-hmm. and there were not really that many listings in the DR, in the Caribbean per se. So most people that used to go to the DR at that time, they were going to the all-inclusive resort. Mm-hmm. They were not going to stay at a villa. It was not such a thing. Now, what I realized is that as I'm looking into this property, I look at the ones next to them, and they're all empty. And beautiful villas, beachfront, waterfront, I couldn't believe that nobody was there. And I understand, okay, maybe it's lower season, but still empty. Mm-hmm. Are you kidding me? So I started door knocking just to find out what was going on. And just the gardener was opening, maybe the maid, or nobody. But no owner whatsoever was there. And they were telling me, well, they are in Russia, they're in Canada, they are in Europe, they're in wherever. And I said, okay, could I speak with the owner? And I started to introduce myself as this company, and again, marketing is my background, right? So I started to present myself efficiently and to offer our services, how we could rent their property short term so it will become an income producing asset, and that we will also manage it and take care of it while they're away. They liked the idea. That's how I got into this whole real estate business. And it became very lucrative because that was my first step towards something that I found very interesting. And I grew up with everybody in my family in the real estate industry. So I had always that passion, but an architect didn't make sense for me when moving to the US, because then if I graduated as an architect, I will not be able to be an architect in Spain. So I never knew if that was the right move. So I always focused on business, marketing, all with that background of loving the houses and all of that. So it was very beautiful to see how all that all of a sudden connected. And I always love to say that it's about building a vehicle that allows you to live that lifestyle that you're looking to have.
Yep.
So I always visualize, okay, what's the vehicle that I need to have in order to live my desired lifestyle? And this was exactly the vehicle. It's okay, I'm doing what I love, which is marketing. I'm in an industry that is exciting, that I always had like passion for it, which is the real estate. I'm getting to meet amazing people, because guess what? Those people that rent those houses are great people.
Correct.
And then I get to travel, because my vision was not just to stay in the DR, it was to expand. Now the ingredient that was missing is, okay, cool, like everything sounds fun, but how do we start? Right? Like where do I list these properties?
Yeah.
Where do I and yes, you can start listing them in Airbnb and start doing some marketing, do better than those that were barely starting. So it became a very organic way of receiving clientele. But I said, look, I want to play it big. I want to go towards the best homes in the island and get clients for these properties. Again, who is better acquainted to have that type of clientele than those that have already done it in other destinations? And that was my first thought process is, okay, if I want to work with Bill Gates, if I want to work with Will Smith, who do they use to rent these villas when they travel? And I looked at the biggest companies at the time, Luxury Retreat, Inspiration, and then what happened is that we built that partnership with them, because what I saw is that there was a unique opportunity, which is that in their portfolio, there were not homes in the DR. They had no properties in their portfolio. So same way that we were presenting it to the owners, we were presenting it to these companies saying, hey, this will be an amazing asset for you to put in your portfolio. And we will be working as your local partners. We will take care of everything. We will represent your brand. We will represent your clients. We will take full care of it. And the way that we presented it, it was very professional. They liked it. So we ended up building those partnerships, and it went great. And that's when I started to get a taste of what real luxury was and the demands of these people at that level. And I liked it. I was like, this is cool. It pushed me to expand my knowledge and to really understand more than just the property itself, but the experiences, the lifestyle. And at some point I was like, all right, time to grow, baby. We cannot play small. And I wanted to become that big company. I wanted to become the ones that we had, because I realized I was carrying like amazing people coming in and then they were gone. I was like, okay, bye. See you never. But what I realized is that there was another opportunity there, because these people travel and keep traveling. Like myself, now at this point, I travel as well. But these people travel all the time, and they go to similar destinations. They go to the jet set locations, right? South of France, Ibiza, Mykonos, St. Barts, and all these different places. So I said, okay, let me take a moment to start traveling a bit, building these partnerships, and start building a brand that will attract this clientele and that these local partners would like to associate themselves with. And that was the whole story on how the beginning of SLG started to take place.
Yeah, that's amazing. These are the foundations of SLG. And I really like the story that you tell in the book about your grandfather. Can you talk a little bit about your relationship with him and how the SLG name came to be in your trip to Madrid, I believe it was. So
brother, we're not just asking you how great your
life,
social media is, as you can imagine, right? So we're really bringing those words out of your heart, brother. Just give it to us.
Yeah, it's a beautiful question, because it really goes to my heart, because as you said, Fahad, this is not something that I will take all the how do you say all the good job, Alvaro.
Good
You know,
pat
like
in the
it's not.
shoulders. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It wasn't me that came up with the name. In fact, it was my grandfather, who is a person that I fully respected and that inspired me. In fact, he was not really my biological grandfather, but he was with my grandmother since I was a kid. So for me, that was my grandfather figure, and he was a marketing genius. He also did the American dream as an Italian. He came to the US, he moved to Los Angeles, he became an actor, producer, and then he became a consultant and did amazing things for big companies. In fact, the Visa term, he's the one that came with it. The term Coke, he came with it.
Wow.
And he was awarded the highest honor in Italy by the president. So he was somebody that really, really had an impact on the way that I was trying to always be creative. And at the time when I wanted to take that leap of faith and that next step towards becoming an international entity, we were still, as you said, PNV. We were in the DR, company in the DR, trying to keep this international model going. But who wants to pay a company in the DR to go to Ibiza? Nobody. Neither the local partners understood. It's like, okay, well, you're in the DR. Like, we needed to become a centric point, a sexy headquarters that people will look and respect and be attracted by. So I already had that in my mind. And after all the traveling, I went to Madrid, which is where I'm from, and I had a meeting with my grandfather. You know, I was telling him about this whole thing that I was working on, where my passion was heading and what my vision was. And he was very excited about the conversation. He pulled up a napkin out of his jacket, wrote something, folded, passed it to me, and he said, "You're in the right direction. Everything you're saying makes total sense." Because I told him I wanted to move to the US and build it. He said, "Nothing to tell you. Everything fantastic. Go for it, and don't let anything stop you. My only advice,
it's in the napkin.
Name it like this." And I opened it, and that was the name, Super Luxury Group. Even the logo, like everything. So I was like, whoa. And it clicked. I was like, huh. And then he went ahead and explained why Super Luxury Group and all of that. But, you know, because it's all about the group, the community. It's not just me. And so they had a meaning behind, and I loved it. So I went into the States, because to become an investor visa holder, you need to go through a lot of things. But first of all, is to have a business already established, which is kind of crazy. But so I went in as a tourist to the US to establish the business, and I was so excited, so determined. I'm like, I'm gonna make it happen. And I went to the US, I established the business, I started to look for everything that I needed to do to make it happen, because you need to hire people and so on. And then when I was gonna call my grandfather back to tell him about it, he didn't pick up, and I found out right away that it was right at the time that he passed away. Oh. It was my last conversation I ever had with him. So that's why that last conversation I had with him was him passing me that napkin. So it's a very powerful moment that will always resonate with me and that I will always carry with me.
I just got chilled all over my back,
and
by the way.
We have no doubts that he would be more than proud with everything that you've done, right?
Absolutely.
He's watching, and he sees everything you've done and everything you've accomplished and where you're headed, because you're not done yet with SLG. This is just you're just getting started, baby.
It's 29. Yeah. What are you talking about?
It's actually insane, right? Like, all right, now SLG coming to the US, and we won't go into, you know, fiance leaves you, like, fuck, man, like,
let's
whatever. We're not going that
positive, yeah.
But we're gonna go towards, like, you overcome all these things, and now you've started SLG. And talk to us about getting that first property transaction in that, like, $22 million transaction that you got, because that was that first big one. So talk to us how you kind of get there and how you're using the foundation of PNV now, building it into SLG and utilizing that to now build a brand out, reach out to some of the top people that are there that have some of these clients. And now you become the mainstream go-to place. You want a yacht, you want a helicopter, you want this, you want a $20 million house. We will take care of everything. Mm-hmm. So talk to us about kind of the business that you have and how you really built it and where it's at today.
Okay. No, I can speak about this all day. I love it. You know, That's what I'm passionate about. And it comes back to what we were discussing, which is about building that vehicle. Okay, what's the vehicle that will allow me to live the lifestyle that I'm craving, or that I want, or that I'm passionate about? And in this case, it was about having a little taste of what these guys were doing when they were renting these villas that I found fascinating. I'm like, wow, I really want to have this lifestyle too. It's so much fun. Because guess what? A lot of these people, they were inviting me to join them. Why? Because they love the energy. I'm the guy that makes everything happen. You know, like I'm always like, okay, reservation here, this. Like it went beyond just renting the villa. So it was a fun experience at a young age to be surrounded by all these great experiences.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you that that was the taste that made me understand that I had what is called the imposter syndrome, which I was thinking that I was not supposed to be there. Like I was, because I started to kind of trying to play a part, but I'm like, I cannot do this.
You
Like,
weren't
I'm
believing
24,
in
25,
yourself.
26. Like,
Yeah.
well, I cannot afford to live this life. Like I'm just serving them. So, but then as everything progressed and I started to implement more the new business model that we had at that time, because same thing goes here. It was about leveraging what you have. I didn't have money, so what do I have? Okay, and then start being creative. And in this case, I didn't have years of experience. I didn't have the money. I didn't have like different resources. But if I could play it smart, it could be a hit. And it was at that time that I started to become the big company with the local partners. So I was no longer relying on these big companies to send me clients. Now I need to figure out on my own. I'm like, how the hell do I get all these big clients?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm working as like I'm this big brand and I'm working with local partners, sending them clients and working together. But how do I actually get these big leads? I don't know anybody. Like I'm just starting, you know. Who do I know? The guy from Silver City, New Mexico? I don't think that guy can afford it. So I started to look into different resources on what we could do to reach that level. And it was very strategic because if you look at your target audience, okay, Will Smith, Kim Kardashian, who are the guys that we want to work with, right? These celebrities. We are always a couple people away from knowing that person. So it's like, how can I create that bridge to reach those guys? And at the time, influencer marketing was starting to become a thing, but not even in real estate. It was in the beauty industry, right? Like just models or influencers, which they were not even considered influencers at the time because it was like a new word. They were just promoting products and their social and engaging with their community. So I said, look, it will be such an attractive method to offer them to stay at a villa and do whatever they do, plus promote the home, and we can start branding these villas. And it will be a different marketing angle on how we can celebritize homes, something that nobody's doing. And it took a little bit until some of the owners started to agree on taking the chance of doing it, because it was presented as like, look, this property doesn't rent 100% of the time. The occupancy rate is 40%, and there's always downturns where it's still attractive to bring people, but it's not the season. So May, at the beginning of the season where people usually go maybe in June to Ibiza, we will bring them in May, and we will invite these influencers to stay, and then we will have the property get it promoted. We as a company get promoted. My personal brand and connection started building as well. And guess what? The ultimate clientele that we were looking for, which was following these influencers, started to see our content. We started to build these relationships, and that's how the whole ecosystem took place at first. And then it was just developing on its own, right? Like our pillars of our business is luxury homes, luxury brands, influencers, and high net worth individuals. So all of a sudden, we just started to plug in everything. It's like, okay, we have 3 or 4 influencers in this beautiful villa. Let's reach out to the yacht company. Let's reach out to the car company, because it started to become that social currency where everybody wanted attention. Attention is one of the strongest currencies. So everybody wanted the attention, the exposure. So we already had access to all the beautiful things, the product placement, the millions of followers through these people, the sexy lifestyle. So it was just like plugging in. And guess what? Guess who was paying for those villas at the end of the day with everything that I was looking through those years? The high net worth individuals. They want to rent a villa. They want to host. They want to have the beautiful woman. They want to have the fancy cars. They want to have all these whole things. And some of those high net worth individuals are celebrities. Some are just like big entrepreneurs, but that was ultimate clientele. So it worked out well. And then when COVID happened and everything shut down, and we started to keep on transitioning the business model and developing it, right? Because this was something that it was just at early stages when we were building SLG, and it was not something that we were doing for sales. It was more for the rentals. But when COVID took place and we had to readjust everything, Miami became a really exciting destination to be, and a lot of activity took place when it comes to real estate. So long story short, same business model was applied towards the real estate in Miami. We just had to change the way it was marketed. And one of the things that, by the way, if you have questions, ask me. I'm just telling you this because it's the
All right,
cool
we love it.
story.
We love it.
Say.
We love it, brother. Keep going.
but because I'm not used to speak really that much. I'm the one always.
You are the one always asking the question. Now the shoe is on the other foot, buddy. The shoe is on the other foot. It's all pouring out. It's all coming out.
I'm ready. Now, but to be honest, it was a very fun, exciting early stages. And then when everything happened with COVID and the whole traveling shut down, it was about adjusting. And real estate became very popular here in Miami. We had activity and so on. But when I went on my own after splitting from my business partner, I had to decide, okay, how can I really myself, with no experience on real estate, with no credibility in this space? Because yes, I'm known as the guy that can get you amazing villas in places, but I'm not the guy that has done real estate. So how in my first year can I really take off and start selling those multi-million-dollar homes? And everybody was telling me the same thing. Oh, like step by step, start with the same thing, like some rentals, but here in Miami, and slowly start building your clientele and start posting things about real estate. And I said, okay, cool. And then a lot of people, you need to know the market. And I was like, okay, great. Taking notes. Okay, done. Got it. Renting, knowledge, this is, okay, got it. So I thought, okay, I got the formula. Yeah. I got the formula. Okay, let's go. Excited. Let's try this. I started to print out all the maps of the neighborhoods I wanted to specialize on. Okay, I live in a building where I face Star Island, then I see Hibiscus, Palm Island, Venetian, which are the sexiest and actually right now the priciest neighborhoods in the country. So I said, okay, I want to make that my target because I've been dealing with luxury villas already. So at least people will connect the dots, right? So I started to go with that approach. I printed everything. I started to make an Excel sheet of, because everything is available in the US, right? In the DR, there was access to nothing. You had to door knock and good luck.
It's like Canada.
You have access to everything.
Yeah. We don't have anything available.
Can know.
It's not public knowledge. Yeah, it's not easy to find phone numbers. So in the US, you guys can type in a street name. You get all the owner names. You get their phone numbers, and you can just start cold calling right away. So here we have to go door to door, and we have to knock.
Oh my God. So that's fun. Here you can even know when the cat was born. Like, it's crazy. You can know everything. but it's great because then I was like, okay, good. So I started to do this Excel sheet with the team that we had. And it's like, okay, this is our activity. We need to know who's the owner, who's the agent, if there is an agent, how much was it sold, how much is it asking right now, who was the interior designer, who was the architect, who was the developer, which one is the security company, who is the company that does the landscape and the gardens, and who is that, like everything. I had to know everything. And I started to create this master plan. Okay, this designer is the same designer for this house, this architect, this one. So everything, all the addresses for each, and I had these huge maps printed in my bedroom. I still have them. It's like amazing. Huge. And every morning I was like, okay, good. So I was preparing myself for the war. I wanted to be the most knowledgeable guy. So at least that lack of experience, I will put it through the knowledge that I'm acquiring now, right? Because it doesn't matter if you're 10 years in real estate if you don't know nothing. So, and believe me, there is people like that. So I was like, okay, I need to gain because knowledge is power. And I got deep into that. And finally, I got my chance. I was, already in a circle of people that were very affluent. So here and there, I met people that were interested because Miami was super exciting destination for people to come and then rent. Because a lot of them were renting first and then checking and then eventually buy. So that was my game plan. It's like, oh, easy. Now, when I got into this opportunity of having to find a $5 million home for somebody that asked me, I was like, wow, $5 million, not that bad. Who was telling me this rental thing? Okay, that one is out of the door. I want to focus still on the knowledge, but focus on this property. And I started to show properties to this person and very knowledgeable, like, oh, like this house was designed by this guy who is also doing this by. The guy was impressed. So he already trusted me through the process because he knew I knew my shit. Mm-hmm. Now we do this for weeks. We start looking houses. Everything is great. Eventually, we made an offer. They didn't accept it. He was playing it low because it was overpriced. And he tells me, "Look, Alvaro, I need to go to the Bahamas. Let's put a hold right now. Let's resume when I come back." Okay, great. I left. I don't want to bother too much. Hey, hope you're enjoying the Bahamas. By the way, check out this place. Like always adding value. Like, you're staying at this place. Oh, you need to contact my friend. This, that, this, that. Great. The guy comes back. I reach out. Hey, by the way, this great property came out. Like, it's off market. Oh, no worries, Alvaro. I'm just under contract right now. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, great, congrats, amazing. Well, let's go. So I'll put you in touch. No, I said, okay, tell me more about it. I'll put you in touch with the lawyer. Let's get rolling. And it's like, no, don't worry, Alvaro. I got it all. And in my mind, I'm still like naive, thinking, oh, we're a team, like we're doing this together. So like, great, but tell me which properties. Like, well, like I started seeing this girl and then she just got her license. She showed me this property. So yeah, great opportunity. So I'm just going and doing that.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, oh, okay, good. Like, and I meet her, like, don't worry, Alvaro. Like, but the next one, or I'll keep you posted. And I was like, wow. So in that moment, it was such an eye-opening. I said, okay, there is no trust here. I haven't built my name as somebody that people will just go back to you for all these things. I need to play a different game. Mm-hmm. Because I started to look around and all these girls were getting licenses. Everybody was having a license. Everybody around you had a license. Everybody was a realtor. So it's like, okay, this is not the brand I've built to now become another fish in the sea. I don't want to play that game at all. Mm-hmm. I'm out of all this different stuff. I need to rewrite the script. Whoever gave me that script, fine. You can spend 20 years until you get to that point. I'm not playing that game. And I decided to go a different route, which is, who are the ones that are selling the $20 million homes? Okay, good. Identified. Okay, great. What do I do for these guys? How can I start attaching my brand to their brand? How can I start elevating myself as not just a guy that knows, but also that looks presentable and has that authority? Perfect. Because I'm attaching my brand and my name to these homes. Mm-hmm. Marketing, same thing. I started to offer what I've been doing on the business model, but to these guys, because guess what? There is one thing about these super successful real estate brokers, have big egos, most of them. They love the press, they love the exposure, they love.
Ask Peter about his ego. He'll tell you all about it. I'll tell you all about it.
Oh, come on.
Come on. And these guys love, you know what they all love to say? They're all like, I don't have an ego at all. I'm like, yeah, you fucking do.
So hold on. I have a realistic ego. It's very different than regular ego. I'll explain what the difference is. Real estate ego, this is a teaching moment, sorry. The real estate ego is about getting bigger for my sellers, bigger numbers, bigger deals, bigger prices for my sellers. That's what I call a real estate ego. Like, I have a massive fucking real estate ego. I do.
I love it.
And you have to have it. And what my massive ego means I have to get more money for myself.
Always. 100%.
That's my ego.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right.
So, there you go.
That's it. Whoever said it's otherwise, they're playing too low. I have also an ego, but it's different. It's how to, like you said, how you can channel that ego.
We all have it.
Whatever you're doing it's pride. You want to be proud of what you're doing. You want to achieve for more. You want to, okay, somebody's like doing something better. Oh shit, how can I get it better? Like you're on your own road, you're building yourself, but it's always about, okay, how can I get better? But also what's going on around so that I can push even farther. Like always look at whatever is around you as a motivation to try to do it better. Because the mentality is different. A lot of times growing up, I saw this mentality of like somebody doing better and them trying to put it down. Mm-hmm. When I look at things now, it's like this abundance mindset. There's so much for everybody. We just need to look at, okay, this guy is doing great. What is that person doing that is making that person so great? Okay, great, good. Boy. I'll apply that and I'll get better. Boom. And then, shit, I see somebody doing something, oh wow, I need to start moving. Like I cannot be sleeping. So it's a different type of ego, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
So those big guys,
one thing I wanted
there.
hold on. I want to ask him a question. Those,
Two things before you ask.
Yeah,
him
because we're
two,
going to
two
be
things
mindful
there.
of time.
One is CNEI that you mentioned in the book. It's funny because I've been using this for like a decade, continuous, never-ending improvement. And two is, which goes in turn with one, is guys, look to others, replicate and duplicate what they're doing. You don't need to recreate the wheel sometimes, especially in our business. There's someone already doing it well, but do not compare yourself to them. Look in the mirror. That's your opponent. You want to be better than the person you were yesterday. And if tomorrow you're better than the person than you are today, you will continue to compound that and be the best that you ever could. Yep. I can't go compare myself to a Peter Torkin. I can't go compare myself to a Barry Cohen. I'm me, and I know I'm as good as they all are, if not fucking better. I'm comfortable in my skin and what I do, but it's not. And you are amazing, right? Anyways. Like it's just about facing your individuality and learning about yourself. How do I improve? And be critical of yourself. Yeah, pat yourself on the back, but say to yourself, well, what could have I done better? Even if you door knock or you cold call and you don't get the right response, well, what could have I done differently? Did I ask all the right questions? And this I learned at an early age, and I feel like applying this really helps you develop. Don't be afraid of criticism and actually go seek it. If you really want to know how people feel about you, go ask others. Be like, hey, I just want your honest feedback on what you thought about that conversation, on what you thought. And I promise I won't get offended. I really genuinely want you to be honest with me and tell me what you felt as a third party or as the person on the receiving end, what I could have done better. And I feel from a leadership perspective, it really helps people grow when they do that.
Amazing.
100%. No, and well said. I'm into that. I think that's the main focus, on how you can be better every day. Now, I'm glad you said it because that's a mantra I live by, constant never-ending improvement. Now, in regards to a lot of the things that we were talking about, and again, it's just about leveraging, right? Because how can you leverage? How can you skip the years? How can you do something differently? And again, this is not reinventing the wheel per se, because a lot of people already are doing something great that you can apply. However, it's about leveraging. If I've already built something that it's working, whether it's in this industry, something else, but it's working, and I have already built this network, how can I bring this model and present it to somebody that might benefit from it? So I started to apply that concept, and I started to attach my brand with the brand of other successful brokers. I started to build this network where everybody wanted to kind of be a part of it. They loved it. It's like, okay, good, you can do this, fine. And then we started to build press that was showcasing their brand with our brand. Now I was grabbing this content, a property sold for $12 million. In that article, my name, Super Luxury Group, is there. I grabbed this piece and I start putting it on my social. I start sending it to my circle. I start introducing it and presenting to the people that have similar houses to that one, saying that we can do the same for them.
Perception is reality.
So the interest became, very high. And again, it was a hot market, so a lot of things were going on. But now I could be kind of like taking the chances to start bringing people and start referring. Like my main business when it started, it was a lot of referrals because I was creating these leads, right? I was already building and leveraging what I had so that I can start moving the needles efficiently. And it became a lot of fun. I was not the guy that was going to be showing houses day in and day out. I never thought of it, neither I think right now. So I think I can do other things with my time and what I love to do. But I'll tell you that when it comes to people coming to Miami, I wanted to also start racking those deals myself. So I said, how can I do that? And aside from just going through the process that I just explained, I looked into something that made me completely unique, which is the fact that I was going and attending all these different red carpet events outside of the USA, outside of my real estate background, which or how you say the playground, right here in Miami. So that's how this happened. That's how those deals came into fruition. Because when somebody was coming from Europe to Miami, they've already built a trust and a relationship with me through all the similarities and the experiences that we've been doing, whether it's been in a red carpet together, whether it's been in a yacht party together, whether it's hanging out in the best restaurants in south of France. Whatever that case is, that builds a trust because you are living a similar lifestyle. They like your energy. They love what you're doing. And you are positioning yourself already with all these things that we were talking about as an authority. So people from Europe, when they see all of that, it's like, my goodness, this is the guy. So when they came to Miami, I was providing not just the properties that they could be interested on, but anything they needed. You want to be at the sexiest restaurant? I got you. You wanted this? I got you. You want this? I got you. So I was providing beyond that. And I was not putting my hat as a concierge guy because I don't consider myself a concierge, yet I'm a provider. I provide things. I unlock opportunities. And I always care about what the needs could be for that person. Now, if I still position myself in real estate, that person is going to look me specifically for that.
Yep.
And that's one of the things that we ended up doing. And there was not even a question on whether they will find another girl that has a license or no, because they're already deep into their relationship. And it became fun. So
and you never lost a deal after that, did you?
Huh?
And you never lost a deal after that. That's it. Nobody called you say, hey, I bought it from my cousin.
I'll tell you a secret. I'll tell you one of my biggest secrets, which this is something that it was amazing, by the way. Like, it's just showing you that you don't have to be 20 years in the industry and follow the script that people present you to get to that point, you know? And in my first year of real estate, selling a $22 million home is something that few people can say. Absolutely. And that also helped me to then open up other opportunities. And aside from that, what I will tell you is that I've had after that people that have been working with me and still not been fully decided on buying or not. So one of my secrets is taking skydiving, because a guy that was like completely off, it's like, you know what, Alvaro, like, I'm not sure, like, prices are so high right now. Like, if I wait a little bit and you know, I said, hey, all good, my friend. And we were looking for homes for a month. I
scared the Jesus out of them. Your life is short. You're gonna die right now. Just fucking buy.
Go ahead.
This is how we're gonna tie up this conversation to the adrenaline activities I do, because there is a reason behind that as well. Not only you become an outlier, but it's about following your passions and do something that people see like, oh my God, but you're doing it with passion. You're not doing it for the sake of showing it to others. You do it because you love it and the impact that it has on you. And skydiving, to me, it has such a huge impact. It just opens my possibilities. It expands my mind. It just sets my soul on fire. It makes me want to live life the fullest. And whatever my biggest dreams are, to not wait, to take action. So if that's the effect that skydiving is having on me, amazing. I was just curious on what the effect will be on other people. I was just wanting to share that secret sauce of achieving success or wanting to do more in life. So in this case, I said, this was the first time it happened, by the way, but then it happened again all the time. But this time I said to him, what are you doing on Saturday? Oh, I don't know why. Well, I'm going skydiving. You want to join? Oh no, skydiving, you're crazy. I'm not like, come on, you'll love it. And I ended up building him into it. I'll pick you up, whatever. We ended up going. It's a 2-hour drive. That's a great timing to be speaking one-on-one, get to know more deeply, because it's like going away from everything. You're in this sacred spot, just driving towards something that is exciting. So they open up. Doing the jump. The person did the jump, landed. His face, completely different from what I've seen in the last month. Looked like a kid. Looked like somebody that finally is dreaming again. Somebody that is like wanting to just grab life and make the best out of it. Yeah. And you know what he told me? I didn't say nothing. I was just quiet, super excited, like, oh my God, so happy for you, man. How was it? So much fun. We got into the car. I turned on the car and he said right away, Alvaro, let's get that fucking house. And I'm like, whoa.
That's amazing.
I fucking love it.
That is amazing.
So, I was like, wow, okay. So I sent a message to my assistant, like, okay, game on, let's go.
Let's go. Another one.
It was funny as hell. It was funny, you know? And then he went on and told me that, why to wait? Like, life is for now, not for in the future.
Yep.
And Alvaro, I love all the stories. I want to respect your time. I know we said we have a hard stop. We actually want to bring you back, because we would
yeah.
love to chat about the Ironman side. We'd love to chat about the skydiving, the licenses, the helicopter license, the keynote speaking. There's so much that we haven't even touched yet.
This is the first part.
But where can people find you?
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about your socials. Where can they follow you? Where can they reach out? And where can clients work with you if they are looking for luxury properties across Miami, or yachts or helicopters, whatever they're looking for? You have to remember, SLG is a one-stop shop.
Yep.
You're dealing with just SLG, and they will take care of anything and everything under the sun for you. So over
And if
to
you and before you say that, if you want to buy a property, make sure you go skydiving first.
yeah.
He's gonna take you skydiving,
guys,
then you buy something.
Guys, I'm having a lot of fun, and yes, it's true. I have to go because I have to run to another thing, but I'm having such a great time here with you guys. And the fact is that we haven't even touched to what's going on now. Like, we just talked about what is going on. Like, we talked about the journey.
Part two is gonna come,
it's
brother.
actually
Part
exciting.
two, yeah.
I'm just gonna give a quick summary about something about SLG. We are the real estate powerhouse, but as you know, Peter, you're
Yep.
part of our network. We have
Yes.
different divisions. We have our real estate division where, yes, we have a small team, but it's more like catered towards the celebrities and very high end. And again, it's not something that we are looking to build as a traditional brokerage. We keep it with the influencers that we have in our team. That's how we're feeding this whole thing. That's what generates leads. And those leads, we refer them most of the time to our network. Because we have another division, which is our SLG network, which is those real estate professionals from different jet set locations, architects, developers, interior designers, real estate brokers that are very successful, like our good friend Peter. And look, what happens here is that we provide just anything that we could to bring exposure, to help them connect with the right people, to generate leads, to work on different projects. Like, we have our media and entertainment division. So as a marketing agency, we have that division, right? Like, we have the different divisions. And now, more recently, we've launched our academy division, where we are creating educational material, not only for people that are already at a top level, but also that are starting, with the intention to inspire, to educate, and to help them grow in their business, whether it's in a personal development, with marketing, with business development, with networking, with sales. And I'm not the guy that is going to be telling you, oh, you need to do this, this, and that. That's what we have our members in our network to come and start educating and teaching and setting themselves also as an authority, because they earn it. And you, Peter, my friend, you've done it. So I'm appreciative of all your time as well. No. And on the side of SLG, that's clear. But on my side, as you can know, I'm doing a lot of other different things. So Level Up, it became now a best-selling author book. It became very popular. It's getting a lot of traction. And I want to use that as a momentum to start, as we said at the beginning of this conversation, to do something bigger and more impactful towards our community, right? Something that will light a fire inside somebody to want to take action. And the book that's what it's about, right? It's about turning your obstacles into superpowers. It's about becoming the hero of your own story and making those dreams come true, because so many people give up on their dreams so quickly. And I just believe that we have everything within us to make anything come true. So I just want to leave you with that. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. And we'll speak very soon. By the way,
tell me.
You said it. You said I forgot. Yes, you can find me online. No, but honestly, you will put it in the description.
I was going to actually say it. So I follow you. I'm inspired by you. You know that, and me and you were friends for the past couple of years, and we chat constantly as well here and there. But I want to say something to everybody, all the audience. Alvaro is actually somebody that I inspire to as well, and because the life that you live in is incredible. And I enjoy every second of it that you're doing it. And not only you're doing it for yourself, you're living it out for everybody else to inspire other people, as you just said that. And that's just, that shows character from you, even though when you started from a humble beginning, that created the empathy and it created the humanness that you have, my friend. And you're passing that along to everybody else. And that goes a long way for a lot of people because unfortunately, world runs around negativity and constantly, and people think about it, and that has so much power on everybody's brain. And to have somebody like you that's super positive about life, and at the end of the day, what do we need in life is whatever we do in life is that whatever journey, whatever you try to achieve is for you to feel better and be happy. The happiness is the goal, right? So, and you are transpiring that through the world that you're doing with your book, my friend. And if everybody watching, you got to get his book and
Can
read
you hold
it.
your book out for us?
Show the book, brother. And
Yes.
I want a signature one, by the way, from you.
Yeah.
So
Same
when I
here.
come to
Of
Miami,
course,
I
of
want to
course.
come and
Come
see you.
on.
I
100%.
want an autograph one.
And maybe we'll go skydiving when I'm there.
if,
Maybe my wife's gonna kill me.
if our wives
But,
allow.
yeah.
He messaged me. Like, no, you're coming
kill
next.
me.
You're
Yeah.
next. I don't know if I'm gonna buy anything, but I'll go. But anyways, I just want to say, my friend, for everybody, please follow him on SLG Super Luxury Group. We're gonna tag you everywhere. We're gonna put it in the comment as well. And you're just completely inspirational human being, my friend. Keep on being you. That's all I'm gonna
Keep
say.
killing it. And I'm willing to bet any
thank
money
you.
by the time he's 40, he's going to write another book.
Oh, yeah.
And I already have a feeling because I said to Peter, the book actually gets better and better as you read it, especially as you start to get into those last few chapters, that journey, how it evolves, how you evolve, right? From starting in the elementary age and then going on to something that's huge and bigger than life with Super Luxury Group and all the experiences that you've had. So thank you so much. And thank you to all our audience for tuning in, listening to this wonderful episode of Art of Greatness and witnessing Alvaro Nunez greatness.
We're gonna have the part 2 for sure.
Part 2 is definitely
100%
coming.
Thank you,
coming. They're gonna
guys.
be that.
Guys, please like,
With
follow,
pleasure.
subscribe, and follow SLG and Alvaro. All the details are below. Hope you guys have a wonderful one. And we'll see you in a few weeks once again with a new guest and a new episode.